Hey guys, this is Greyshot17, and I'm currently going over Emerald Bear, going over all the features slowly but surely, and breaking them down, and hopefully having a video for you guys. This will be probably a very big video, but this will cover all the gameplay features, updates, everything for it, and then I might have a video later on to see kind of the ramifications of it. But let's get into it, shall we? First off, we have maps. So we got 3v3 maps that were added. Let's see right now. So it's Benghazi. This was originally on the mod store. I originally talked about this, like put this, map into the general, auto match ecosystem. But it is on. So technically there are 5 3v3 maps now. The problem is Cantania Crossing is not a map designed for auto match. This is a map designed for more comp stomp. So the problem is it's not really relieving the pressure. So really it's only 4, which for 3v3, it's actually not too bad compared to KO2, because KO2 doesn't have a lot of great 3v3 maps, but still, at least it's something. 4v4, we have Monte Cavo, again, which is the map I'll kind of be doing a lot of the test runs and stuff on through the course of the video. Again, we're now up to 3 multiplayer maps, which is good that they're adding it. I will say, though, that they absolutely need to add more to keep the community interested. And again, there's a number of maps that the community has worked on that will probably be absolutely ready for auto match. Like Inferno, we have ourselves Hill 209, Oasis, Traversy might be a little bit of a stretch, but I definitely would back it up. And we also have the Step map. Overall, it's just there's a number of maps here that I can easily see working. Oh, and Tobruk. Let's not forget about Tobruk, right? So yeah, the Desert Pass and Tobruk, that's 6 maps you could easily do. Bring in the 4v4 up to 10. Next up on the docket, we have player profiles. Here's the thing. If we go to options, you have Steam Profile and Steam Profile. So obviously, they need to work that out. But I believe the top one, yep, the top one is your player profile. So they need to update the wording there. And it kind of goes over all the games. Again, not a 1v1 guy, so you're not going to see me there. But 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, as you can see, that's where I mainly play. Hey, and I have a 67% win average, so can't say I'm terrible. I'm above average. But yeah, they also have statistics. Very general, but at least it's something, right? Like, I'm not going to dismiss it because at least it is here, and I know a lot of the competitive guys would prefer to have this, right? So, hey, it's all good. Vermach, 78, almost 79% average. 66 for them and 68. So overall, pretty solid stuff. My US is my weakest. My Vermach, absolutely my highest. So, wow, I have 1200 elo. Dang, all right. So, next up, we got menu improvements, social interaction options. Okay, let's see. What does the social features do? Add player. I guess it's supposed to be fixed and updated so you can actually invite people now. Cool. All right, they've added a ton of challenges. I'm not going to go over all of these just because there are a lot. But to just give in comparison, let's see what challenges I have right now. So this ends in the next 7 days. And I have kill 50 vehicles as the Africa Corps. That's a lot more reasonable, I would say. Or at least it's reasonable for me to do that as a general faction. Kill 50 vehicles as the Wehrmacht. Again, I feel like there may be... It is weird that one's a little more than the others, but whatever. I guess equally fine. I guess we're going to see a lot of Axis focus. Hopefully they kind of divide it evenly between the two so you don't see like a huge Axis push rather than allies. Kill 40 vehicles with light tanks. Okay. And with the lighter stuff, we have just deployed 2 British M3 or Crusader tanks in a match. That's reasonable. That's easy. And then tank traps, that's good. Oh, shoot. I have someone joining. I'm sorry, man. I'm going to have to kick you. Again, still Steam Profile. That's unfortunate. All right, so next up, we got ourselves, let's see. We got gameplay changes. So we're going to jump into the game so we can highlight that stuff. So this is the new map as part of it. So let's do a general overview. So you have more forest area, kind of rocky heights. Again, with CO3, they want to really emphasize the terrain. So there's absolutely more terrain, heights and stuff like that, more than CO2. We have a more urban area in mid, but urban area that seems like it could easily have a lot of openings. Like, it's something that you can slowly destroy over time to open up areas, which I think people would be more receptive to. Because I feel like one of the bigger issues with Co 3 with the other 4v4 maps is there's a lot of areas where it can be very constricting. So it seems like there's multiple pathways, so you're not stuck. So that's good. And again, with the leveling system, you can easily break these buildings and go through. So very cool. And then on the right, we have actually more open area. Okay. So this looks to be probably a solid 4v4 map. I love the lighting, by the way. The lighting is just really damn good. Oh, okay. So there's one major one here. And I think that's the only major munition location. Well, there's a lot on the left. There's 10, 10, and 10, right? Yeah. So there's slightly more munitions on the right, but it's not that much. It's not like Red Ball or not Red Ball, but they're for munition wise, right? They're obviously fuel. It's going to be highly competitive to get the fuel here and then push here. These are just your base 5. This is 10. So you're really going to see most people probably try to push mid, unless I'm mistaken. Because what? If you hold back here, play a little defensive, you don't necessarily need to go for this. I mean, or here. But yeah, fuel-wise, you can easily see people trying to grab that and lock it down so that they can either contest or push the fuel down. But there isn't like a fuel resource hub. It's always going to be very fluid on this map. Maybe the right is kind of more defensive-oriented or maybe for flanks. I guess it would be more for really DAK players, right? Because that's additional 24 potential manpower. I mean, it's going to be close to the base, but still, at least if they could get that excess manpower, that might be better long-term for them. Because that's, what, an extra 100 manpower every few minutes? 8 strategic points to so many MPs and hard to cut any territory zone. Well, that's the question, right? So if I capture this, let's just give it to myself, right? Okay, so you have there, and then what? How does this work? So let's say I have this one. So this is still not cutting off per se. Let's say you control this munition point, and then you take this hill, right? You take the high ground here. Okay, you cut off the fuel and the munition, everything like that. That makes sense. So to me, that adds more contention to this area. On the right, that's not really the case, because you have this territory that'll cut you off, right? But this is already going to cut you off too. So it has cutoffs, but it's not cutoffs like Red Ball or Hill 400 or anything like that. So something to keep in mind about this map. The right side, again, not many cutoffs. The left side, more impactful. So again, from my perspective, the left side is going to be the area where you have more heavy fighting in mid. Not necessarily the right, unless maybe you're a DAK player and you're just trying to get that manpower, right? Because the DAK is the one that's so severely, not severely, but it's more hampered by manpower stuff. All right, so let's see. Let's get to vehicles. Let's kind of cover that before I get distracted once again. So I feel like we'll go with the British and we'll get a couple Crusaders. The movement, I can tell, is already better because they're not trying to get in a stupid formation and go in a straight line. And they do go through infantry. But again, that's fine. So obviously pathfinding has been improved. I'm sorry to say, was it DevM, a part of the team that worked on that? So good. The only thing I will say, you still can't crush, right? They'll go through. They might meld their way through, but they're not going to crush the enemy force. That's the only thing that I'm like, ah. But with this, it's easier for vehicles to move. I could easily see crushing more of a thing. Hopefully they add that. But again, pathfinding is something that always like rubbed me the wrong way with vehicles. And I'm glad it seems like they have fixed it, right? With how they're moving and how things operate. Because obviously these tanks, I can tell, are already moving a lot better. All the vehicles in the game had their speeds, acceleration, rotation adjusted. This change helps improve the responsiveness of number of vehicles and creates a differential between all vehicle classes. Okay. All right, so next up, let's go to event queues. That's on the left. You can see there, it definitely sticks out a lot more. It's a little bit darker, which, hey, works out. Again, allows people to see. Damage, all right, so end of match results. Apparently, damage dealt and damage taken stats no longer include environmental damage or friendly fire. Kill stats such as a soldier killed and vehicle killed no longer include friendly fire. I feel like there was a lot of friendly fire. Okay, the question is, though, that's great. They fixed all the miscellaneous stuff. Does that fix... Someone just comes into the stream, sees a bunch of screaming snipers, like, what is Greyshot doing? Alright. That's my problem. It got to Vet 1, but it has no infantry kills. Where it should have infantry kills, because it just killed about a dozen snipers. Right? So, that's something to where it's like, there are units that have, like, a after action or, like a passive... effect, AoE effect on enemies. That's just it's still not calculating. That's something they do need to fix. Again, I'm glad they fixed a lot of the stuff for the reports after action, but it's still not accurately getting information because it's not accurately getting information now. Minimap, the animation for out of supply sectors has been updated, aligned to previous company video games, flashing between two different tones, red for enemy. Okay, yep, and it's doing right now, it's doing the flashing effect. So again, the flare color highlights what is happening. I'm not touching these guys, by the way. They're moving around. Are they targeting the plane? Are they detecting the plane? What is happening? Okay, so that's the... Alright, so a few more strikes after it finished up, but okay. Alright, enemy force, right? Oh no, let's call in the anti-tank strafe. The red, so that's more severe. Green is like a paradrop. I'm not touching these vehicles. Right? The airstrikes look pretty cool. The vehicles are moving by themselves. Is it detecting the planes or vehicles and trying to adjust? Okay, so it's not going to delete your entire armored force, but it is still pretty impactful. Okay, then we have the naval bombardment. We'll finish off there. It's not repositioning itself with this. All right, well, that's 225. That's doing damage. So 3 rounds of naval artillery. There we go. I love that. That's all right. Pretty devastating. Green. So again, green, yellow, green, yellow, and red. It's not bad. It's not a bad system because it's like it makes sense to have a system to differentiate between a heavier strike and a lighter strike. Like these fire, while I love them, are not the most deadly, right? You have the Airstrike. Oh, right. That's what I know what I want to cover. So here, let me go AA. One Whirlwind, right? So we're going to go Whirlwind, and we're going to deploy a plane, not in the sector that it should be, but in another sector, right? So British Air and Sea, called in over here. Circle in the area. Right? You have the blue area that highlights the area's effect. Oh, shoot. And then let's go enemy.
ready to fly.
Okay, so that's one. This is worst case scenario, being angled from the enemy base. 3 pieces of AA. Does it survive? Okay, so with 4 AA, it died in the center of the map. Now let's try a strafing run.
P-47 ready to ruin Jerry's day.
Still got the strafe off. It did die. Alright, so now we're going to go with the bombing run here. I know they reworked this stuff. Oh, it's coming in from the other side. Right. 1 bomb. Okay. They did crash eventually, but they did make it through. Alright, so I'm going to do it. Bombing strike, let's say killing LEFHs. They're back here. Or, you know, artillery in the back. Let's see. There's the Air Force. One bomber. So one of them made it through. Okay. We're going to try this again. I'm going to add more flak. Everyone has at least 2 AA guns, right? Everyone has 2 AA. Let's see how it is. So I'm going to call in a strike here. Let's say smoke. From the enemy base. It's coming in. Okay, get shot down. If I come in from the other direction, though, let's say I just want to block this off. That's 8 pieces of AA. Will it land? Will the smoke actually get off? Yep, it dropped smoke. Did drop smoke confirmed. All right, what about a supply drop that's like over, let's say this fuel point?
IP ahead of us. Get in formation.
It's shooting the planes. I can hear the shots. All right, position held. All right, now we're going to go for a bombing strike. This is in the center of the map. Let's say you're in the middle of a fight, and they're fighting. This building, I'm going to level it. Let's see if it will.
Escort, you're clear to peel off. Give them hell.
Love the bombers coming in. That's pretty cool. One, two, three. Okay. So the planes all crash over there. We're going to switch it, and we're going to, let's say the guy does it on from the enemy base.
Standard procedure. Hit the fuckers.
You can see them in the distance. We still had bombs drop. 8 pieces of AA. We still had bombs drop. Okay. Now we're going to call in the bombing strike we can't direct, but we can direct these. If I direct it from the Allied base, how will that work?
P-47 ready to ruin Jerry's day.
Yeah, this... Okay. And what about recon from the enemy base, or the Allied base? Well, we're also going to overwhelm the AA. We're going to see how much it does. So there's going to be a fuck ton of planes. If you send at least 2 squadrons of planes, you could probably get through. This is with 3 verbal winds, 2 flak 36s, sorry, 1 flak verling, 3 verbal winds, 2 Flak 36s. And also you have yourself a Flak 30 kind of in the area. Yeah, that's a fuck ton of AA that you are currently dealing with, that the enemy would have, and planes are still getting through. I think you might need to increase the damage of AA just a little, or at the very least, if especially in the zone. But it seems like if you are an allied player, right, and you wanted to bring in anything via air resources, just bringing in AA on the other side to counter that is not going to guarantee success at all. You would need a lot of it, given the amount that's coming in. And again, if you... Okay, so let's simplify this, right? Let's simplify this further. We're going to call in the P-47 run on these guys, and let's see if they can stop it. Three verbal wins altogether. Okay. Through sheer damage, 3 AA guns can't shoot down the planes before they hit target. They still got the shots off. Again, hopefully that seems to be the biggest issue right now with given all the strikes. Again, strikes are good. I'm not going to deny, but I think that's a big issue because I think we'll go into it and we'll show that the verbal wins actually got a nerf on it. But I feel like planes are going to be super strong, and that is not changing anytime soon. They purposely increased the plane strength and health. I'm just going through a lot of these real quick and kind of pointing out what I should cover. Let's see. But yeah, they increased the health of a lot of the planes. To be fair, the recon loiter makes sense. You want to increase that health. All right, so one of the changes is... Oh, the 4x4 got increased lethality. That's good. But here, we're going to test the strength of this bomb. Test run on the bombing strike. Here we go. Bombers coming in. Okay. I would call that a success. All right, now we're going to move to the Tiger. Okay. When it's not friendly, it does, what, 840. So it'll do double damage. It was set to friendly. Thank you, Infinite. All right. But that's pretty substantial. That bombing run, I'm going to be honest, didn't do much. Okay, so going over damaged aircraft, no longer increases for charge time, double sortie fuel. They decreased a lot of the cost of this. So the air supremacy, they decreased, the air supply, and the double sortie. Double sortie, 50 to 40. Die bomb cost is now 70 munitions, so if you cut in half, it's reduced, it's 46. And strafing run costs 60 to 50. And how much does this reduce it by? Reduce the cost. Okay. I feel like they're making the airstrikes for the Americans even more powerful, which, okay, you didn't use them before because they were too costly, right? It's a lot of fuel to upgrade all this stuff. But now, because of, as soon as people realize you can't shoot them down in time, even if you have a ton of AA, you're gonna make them okay. That's a little red flag moment that I could see. I guess this thing was more of a threat in like 1v1s and such. In 4v4s, I never felt the Easy 8 was like the biggest threat. I know you can get multiple of them, but still. You got the Sherman Combat Group. It's 640 manpower. To put in perspective, if you have all these abilities, right? But that Sherman is 270 manpower for 90 fuel. This is 100 fuel, but 640. So you could essentially pump out 3 Shermans. And again, you could get their upgrade variants, right? For the equivalent of one of these. Not bad. I'm just kind of just putting the manpower cost for one of these suckers. Fuel-wise, yeah, it would be a lot more. It's definitely a lot more, but it's definitely a lot of manpower to put into this. And then for a Tiger, yeah. So let's see. What did they do with the area of effect? Accuracy increased, area of effect decreased, model limit, and rotation. So it's a little bit worse against infantry. This following puts changes on the same accuracy as the Sherman 76, meant to reduce the power against infantry. I know this is definitely not an equal scenario. I'm just curious to see how much damage it does, because I feel like this group is something you're probably going to be it. This would be something you would see, a blob of forces charging you for AT purposes. Alright, it's doing okay. But I know this is not the best scenario. I'm just... Alright, little guy, you need to show the world that you're as good as your KO2 compatriot. He isn't. But, you know, we're going to give it a go. So this is... Area effect increased, damage increased. Okay. So, for the Scott, we know there are guys there. But is this... Nope. So for the Scott to hit it in KO2, this thing could snipe so far, right? And let's give it its look, I'll even give it some veterancy, right? Right? Does that... A little... It's like right there. But I'm not doing specials.
High explosive saturation on that target.
Okay. Looks like a KO2 Brumbar. Yeah, kinda. And the unit's more responsive, so hopefully that makes it so that way it's actually a bit more, you know, better. Alright, let's say you see one of these blobs, right? You're like, oh no. You know he's there. How far can the Wizbang shoot? Wizbang has to be close. I think I put him right there. Watch, I completely forgot where they were, but... Yep, I did. They were further back. Son of a bitch. Alright. Let's try that again. Okay! I'm a big fan of the Wizbang. Hot damn. And again, the Wizbang, the amount of rockets per barrage increased, its range increased. Yeah. And it has a precision one too. So you can focus in a single area, right? Okay, maybe not. It's precise. First rocket hits this building. All right. No, but it does have a precision barrage, which is fascinating because I know a lot of people are like, they do not like the precision stuff in KO2. Like, that's what got rid of the one for the B4, but it is interesting that this will now have it. Overall, I see a lot. Okay, so overall, I'm seeing a lot of positives for the Americans in definitely increasing their effectiveness. Like, especially because if you've increased this damage overall, yeah, this will be a great counter to blobs. So I highly recommend the Wizbang. I mean, the Scout would be more passive, but this just has the explosive power that if you catch a blob off guard, it's going to get it like a KO2 Katusha. So, yes, very good. You're going to need a lot of AA to take down those planes. All right, so let's see. We wanted the 221, right? That's the thing I'm curious on. Where is this sucker? Damn, it's not even represented its own... There it is. All right. So you can upgrade it with the anti-tank gun for cheaper. But the question is, how does this thing... Because Daxter, huge fan of the 221 and 223 and KO2, right? Massive fan. So, You have a squad of, we'll say riflemen, right? Out in the middle of the open. How effective is this? And go. It is winning. I'll give it that. Again, it's slowly winning. It's not the fastest while it's outside of cover. But it's not god-awful. So overall, I don't know. I think Tightrope put a video on this guy earlier today. I could see it being a little more useful in terms of fighting infantry and just keeping more map control. But still, my only concern about it is 25 fuel. That's a lot of fuel early on. And it doesn't... You can upgrade the fight armor better, but... I don't know. I feel like this could be more testing by guys smarter than me. But right now, it's like iffy. Because at the very least, the 221, right, in Code 2, you get the fuel, you could get some additional bonuses with it. But here, I guess it would be more Fog of War, so I guess you're trying to fill the role of a Kubel. But the role of the Kubel in Code 2... was the fact it's so cheap, and yeah, sure, it's not great, but you can cycle out with something else. So this thing is now 50, so that's pretty cheap. All right, so how effective is, I always forget, how effective is this thing against infantry? So let's throw up some American infantry. It's fine. Nothing to write home about. It's just more of a strafe. But it's fine. Again, the big thing is it suppresses more so than it kills. Alright, so let's see. Next, we have the British. Is there anything I need to really focus on? Because I was on British earlier in the day. 17-pounder, weapon range increase. Oh! Range increase to 17-pounder. That's pretty damn good. Infantry section, lethality. Wait, I'm sorry, what? The infantry section's Bren lethality has been increased. Lethality in all ranges has been increased. For the infantry section? Okay. I thought the British were overperforming. Yeah, the Commando LMG now better. It was already good. My questioning about it was the fact that it's solid, but the problem was about it is it had no bonus for grenades, AT grenades. It was just standard in firepower. That's it. And now they made that better, which compensates for the lack of utility for the role, which is fine. That's why I kind of like the the DAK unit that here. Let me pull it up right now. The Gustatory, right? It wasn't just they had flamethrowers. It was the fact they were an engineer, super strong with flamethrowers. Utility was incredible for what they could do, right? The paratrooper LMG does a lot of damage, but it doesn't have like other cool roles, I guess. All right, so let's see. Supply surplus now provides a 25% discount on built resource caches to players by royal engineers or those built directly into territory points. Okay. So they made that more preferable? I mean, that seems like a good thing. 25% discount. You can just start pumping out a lot of caches. All right, the DAK. 8 rad scatter has been increased. The 250 as cost has been decreased. And now gain shared veterancy. Yes! But let's see. Hold on. So, not enough. The hell? You can't even deploy the. So right now in the game, the 2 effective AT components you cannot get. Oh, oh my god. That's bad. Yeah, that's bad. Okay. Yeah, I assume it's also at the 17 pound. How'd that get affected? I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, 260, that's good. Okay. With health and armor, this thing is a bit better. Right? But then you're like, ah, yes. I'll get the autocannon upgrade. That will make it even better, right? It's like, all right, I see an armored car. Let me tear this thing apart. Oh. I have made error. Back up, back up, back up, back up. Okay. Alright, so, okay, it can't beat that. Alright, so, screw that. Let's try the other American light vehicles. You know what? Let's go with that, quad mount. Right? Allies have a quad mount. Alright. 222. Let's show him who's boss. So, this thing just pulverizes that. And again, I know it's 260, but these things are not that expensive, all things considered. So, really, even though it says it's better, and again, to quote, right? When you get this thing. To quote, increases anti-infantry and anti-vehicle firepower. This doesn't make it good against most allied light vehicles. It's really still going to be on the back foot for most of the engagements, which makes sense. It is pretty cheap. But honestly, if you have this thing, the mortar up component, because you can just constantly just harass enemy with pretty decent mortar fire in terms of its range, right? That's what this thing really excels at. Alright, Panzergrenadiers will now be more powerful without combined arms while retaining the same overall strength. This will help address the significant difference in viability of the unit in small versus large games while still incentivizing combined arms play. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people in this, when they play the DAK, would go with the Burst Artillery because it would be better, right? Because you could quickly move, you get the upgrades, and they last a hell of a lot longer than these guys. And if you need AT, you get to plump out martyrs or something to help, you know, combat it. Perfect! You guys are all in a row. That's awesome. Alright, let's see how they do. They'll take out a Chaffee, hurt vehicles. How much are those? 120? That's not bad. It's not going to kill anything that's, you know, super armored, but at least it does something. And you could also kill stuff that's being repaired in the back lines if you had recon. The only things I will say is I'm glad they fixed the artillery. For a lot of 4v4, 3v3, that stuff was like the biggest bane. Was like, okay, what's what? Strafes coming in, all this stuff. How can you make it clear to the player this stuff is happening? So that's good. I think that's a positive change. My only concern is the Air Force, because right now the Air Force seems to be pretty much uncontested. They 100% need to fix this bug. Like, that's bad. That for both the British and the DAK, that's just bad that you can't have that stuff in. And yeah, new maps, new balance changes, all that stuff, I think will definitely revitalize the multiplayer to an extent. But that being said, this is the first part. Next month, or I mean August, probably would be a smaller update. But they still need, in my opinion, a couple new maps, and maybe again in the fall, I would say, I don't know, September, October, probably a new battle group for, at the very least, coming out. I know for a lot of the Americans, other things like that, it was also piecemeal for a lot of the new Commander stuff. But that way it just keeps people playing multiplayer, right? And replays. Again, I would love replays sooner. But I think for the multiplayer, for the core fundamentals, balancing stuff is always great and kind of refining that stuff. But making sure there's more multiplayer maps, I think, released. In having a good pool. Like right now in Code 2, it's White Ball, Red Ball, Port of Hamburg, Road to Artem, Steps. There's 5 maps right there. And I haven't even included like Nordwind or excuse me, sorry, or like other kind of like mid-tier, kind of like, that's fine. I don't mind playing on them. Like I love Lands with Ambush. I know it's mid-tier for a lot of players. The Glees, just generally those types, right? Essence Steelworks, those are all right there, and there's way more in that end. But 3, while it's one new map, step in the right direction, consistency in releasing more, I think, is where it would really incentivize the player base. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. This has been Greyshot17, and I'll see you guys next time. Hello, everyone. This is Greyshot17, and before y'all go, let me give a special shout out to Patreon supporters Joey G240, Milam, Big Cooch, Aphyria, Ace, Pyro Shark, Tony B95, Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support and helping me grow my channel and support my channel and everything I do. Thank you, and to the rest of you, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.